The morning sun hadn't fully breached the horizon when trouble rolled up to our Wyoming ranch gate, cloaked in the smug authority of HOA enforcers. My wife, Sarah, stood firm, her boots grinding into the gravel, hands on hips, hair tied back like a warrior's. Two men in tactical polos, sunglasses mirroring their arrogance, demanded we fix a gate hinge they claimed violated their precious perimeter code. Sarah's voice was steel. "You're not stepping on our land without a warrant." I was on the porch, coffee cold in my hand, half focused on a splintered fence rail when their short one barked. "We're authorized to enforce compliance," flashing a cheap badge like it held divine power. The taller one, shoulders twitching, stepped closer, his boots scraping the dirt. "Last warning, lady." Sarah didn't flinch. Not resisting, just disagreeing. Then, without a word, his fist cracked across her cheek. The sound sliced through the dawn. Sarah hit the gravel, blood smearing her lip, one eye dazed. Gravel clung to her scraped palm as she braced herself, refusing to cry. "She got physical," the tall one said, voice flat. "I used appropriate force." "Appropriate?" My whisper barely escaped. My fists clenched, but my feet stayed glued. 20 feet away, and I was frozen, a statue of shame. My mind reeled back 8 years old, kitchen linoleum cold, the air thick with burnt toast. My mother, trembling, tried to fix a spilled glass before my father noticed. He did. His voice dropped, heavy as a storm. I stepped forward once, a weak stop escaping. He turned, calm as death. "See what you made me do." I never spoke again in those moments, never moved. Now, stronger, trained, armed, I was still that boy. Sarah sat up, blood trickling. "You saw that?" Her voice cracked, sharper than the punch. I nodded, mute. "So why didn't you stop it?" Her words cut deeper than silence. I had no answer. A voice broke the tension. "Hold up. Nate." Our neighbor, part doomsday prepper, part beekeeper, strode over, shirtless, binoculars dangling, a cereal bowl under his arm. "You'll need to punch up your bylaws, not people." Sarah gave a faint nod. "You good?" Nate asked. "Always," she said, her grit masking the pain. The enforcers didn't apologize, just slunk back to their side-by-side like they'd dropped off a warning. Then came the SUV, dust swirling, an HOA sticker glaring like a gang tattoo. Out stepped Monica, blonde, pristine, her smile ablaze. She scanned Sarah on the ground, me useless, and sighed like we were a stain on her perfect world. "I assume you'll file a complaint. Board's emails in the newsletter. Check your spam." She tapped her phone, not waiting for a reply. "Had you fixed the gate, this could have been avoided." Nate muttered, "She makes a snake look cuddly." Louder, "Don't worry, I'll monitor the police scanner in case she calls a drone strike." Monica drove off, unbothered. Sarah stood, one arm clutching her ribs, and flinched when I stepped toward her just enough to gut me. She walked to the house, holding herself together. I stood, gripping an empty mug, shame sinking into my bones. That night, sleep evaded me. I sat on the porch, bourbon by my boot, knife in my lap, staring at the gravel where Sarah fell. Nate appeared near midnight, 2 beers and a ham radio in tow. "Tap their HOA comms," he said. "They're calling you non-compliant." "Want the codes?" I stayed silent. He sat beside me. We drank. "Eventually," he said, "sometimes it's not the punch that breaks you. It's the one you didn't block." He left. I sat until dawn, fingers tight on the knife, not to use it, but because it was something I could hold. The gravel stayed scarred, and one question echoed. What happens when a protector fails? They walked away like it was nothing. I let them. But that mistake would be their last. 2 days later, a teen in a neon vest, HOA courier scrawled in Sharpie, handed me an envelope like it burned him. Inside, a $275 fine for an unregistered livestock containment alteration, same gate, same hinge. Sarah read it, placed it on the counter with surgical calm, and grabbed an ice pack for her bruised jaw. I followed, each step feeling like trespassing. "Sarah, don't." One word, final. She rearranged the silverware drawer, spoon shifted, forks swapped detached, like she'd paused being human. "You hungry?" I asked, desperate. "Ate earlier." "I didn't see you eat." She stopped, her gaze slicing through me. "You didn't see a lot. That hurt worse than any fist." That night, she moved to the guest room, door open on an invitation, a warning. Monica, meanwhile, thrived online, posting about Operation Neighborhood Order and demanding perimeter harmony reviews. Gates, fences, even livestock tags faced fines. Daily patrols prowled. This wasn't about rules, it was control. The next morning, 2 new enforcers circled our land from the easement, clipboards in hand, sunglasses gleaming. "Checking setback buffer compliance," one said, smiling like we were friends. "You're close to the limit." "So are you," I shot back. He chuckled, scribbling. Nate called them HOA Gestapo, especially after they fined him for aesthetic obstruction over his bunker's porthole. "The only obstruction's Monica's soul," he growled, waving the ticket like a badge. In the barn, I pored over HOA notices, hunting for loopholes. Every line felt like a noose. Sarah passed the window, arms crossed, not looking in. Her silence screamed louder than any fine. Later, on the couch, she braided her hair with laser focus. "I need to fix this," I said. She didn't look up. "You need to decide who you are." "I don't think you do." She turned up the TV. I stood, staring at the back of her head, wondering how far I'd lost her. Nate pulled up at dawn in his camo golf cart, a drone buzzing behind, clutching a jug of murky liquid, half kombucha, half fuel, cleans the engine and the colon. I didn't laugh. He noticed. "They fine me for weaponized composting." I said, "It's just enthusiastic gardening." I sat on the porch. "You ever freeze? When someone gets hurt, and you just stand there." He pointed to a dent in his truck. "X put that there with a hammer, 2011. Missed my head by inches." I ducked, didn't freeze. But that half second where I wasn't sure? It sticks. That night, another patrol lingered near our fence, flashlights sweeping the gravel. My hand clenched the armrest, the man who froze still inside me, but now he had company, someone colder, waiting. The air felt wrong the next morning, heavy like before a storm. I was tightening the chicken coop latch, hands restless, when Nate waved like he was guiding a plane. HOA's declared psychological war. In his bunker, part militia shop, part sci-fi lair, with canned crisis corn and a squirrel skull, and Ray Bunkshi's laptop showed Sarah at the gate, arms crossed, enforcers flanking her. "Enhance the audio," Nate said. A crackle, then a whisper. "Use the wife, he'll snap." Always does. My fist clenched, a tendon popping. "Play it again." He did. Freeze on the guy who said it. Derek, short beard, combat cut hair, eyes like ash. We'd served together, same unit, same dust-choked mess in Afghanistan. Derek kicked the door, yelled something vile. Pop. Pop. A woman and child hit the dirt. The boy held a pot lid, not a weapon. Derek stood, remorseless. I filed the report that ended his career, not for revenge, but because someone had to. "This was never about Gates," I said. "It's a trap for me." Nate nodded. Monica knew who she hired. She wanted this. I drove to a gravel road past the county line, the wind sharp, carrying who I was before this. "Use the wife, he'll snap." How long had Derek planned this? Did Monica find him, or did he find me? Every fine, every patrol bait. I'd swallowed it. Back home, Sarah's door was closed, light off. I raised my hand to knock, to confess Derek, Afghanistan, the ghosts I'd dragged home. But how do you admit the danger in your driveway was your fault? I sat on the porch, knife in my lap, bourbon by my boot. A side-by-side rolled past, no headlights, just watching. Nate's drone blinked green. My phone buzzed. 10 p.m., HOA watching again. "Not again," I whispered. They thought they knew my breaking point. They were wrong. At sundown, the world held its breath, air still, horses tense. I walked the fence line, no flashlight, just instinct and a bitter taste. A fresh boo mark, a snapped branch, bent wire. Hunting silence. I rose, pivoted, caught a blow to the jaw that spun me. I grabbed the gate, ribs burning as a second shadow hit. "Evening, soldier," Derek said, calm. Figured we'd skip the paperwork. Blood in my mouth, vision narrow. The second guy, brass knuckles glinting, swung. I ducked, swung a loose latch into his thigh. He staggered. Derek smirked. "You used to hit harder, Cole." I rushed him, shoulder to gut. We hit the dirt, elbows flying. The big guy tackled me, fist to my skull. Stars. Then Afghanistan flashed, Derek screaming. They looked hostile. My voice, "Stand down." Pop. Pop. I snapped back, twisted, slammed a jagged gate frame into the big guy's shoulder. He roared. I elbowed his throat. He collapsed, wheezing. Derek ran. I yanked his collar, slammed him into the mud. Fist, fist, rebar jab. His blood hit my knuckles. Thick, wrong. This what you wanted? I shouted. He smiled, lips torn. Sarah stood in the field, barefoot, pale. That's not the man who didn't stop them, she said, walking away. I left Derek in the dirt, limped to the porch, collapsed. My hands weren't mine split, trembling, someone I'd buried. Sarah's door locked. I sat, not knowing if it was goodbye. By sunrise, I was surgical. I mapped the ranch soil, elevation, choke points. It wasn't home, it was a battlefield. I rigged wire triggers, bottle cap chimes, Nate's Frankencams covering blind spots. He brought sensors and a thermos of molasses gasoline spite. Hunting body armor or mutant raccoons? He asked, making sure I know before they do. We buried a shock sensor in a hose nozzle. At 3 p.m., Derek's crew rolled by, his bruises visible. They didn't stop, just cruised, measuring. Sarah watched from the porch, gauging if I was protecting us or preparing to be alone. That night, I stocked the barn water, fuel, radios, food. Nate reinforced the door with steel. You're either building a bunker or prepping for the angriest HOA visit ever. I'm done prepping. I'm calibrating. Sarah found me eyeing old gear knife, boots with sand in the laces. Planning to fight a war or survive one? End one. She left, quiet. I lowered the American flag, raised a black clotha signal only some understand. Nate whistled. That's the kind that makes people Google you. They came at 4:37 p.m. on a Wednesday, bold in daylight. Monica needed an audience. I was checking a trip line when the monitor pinged 3 heavy steps. Nate's radio crackled. 2 heavies, 1 clipboard. You're audited. Monica marched up, hair shellacked, sunglasses reflecting ego. Derek limped, eyes swollen. A rookie twitched, eager. Cole Harris, you're in violation of codes 12B, 14C, and emergency addendum 19F. I let the silence grow, wind stirring the tripwire grass. Crunch. Derek's boot hit the gatepost. Click. Chaos erupted. Nate's speakers blared militia static, reversed emergency tones. The rookie jumped. Monica dropped her tablet. A net ripped up, slamming Derek face first into gravel. He screamed. The rookie charged, met by a bucket of fish oil and hot sauce from the loft. He howled, slipped, hit a tripwire. Flash cans roared. Monica dropped, hands over ears. I walked forward, boots crunching. Derek reached for his vest. I stepped on his chest. You crossed the line. I built a boundary. You ignored it. Monica stood, shaky. This is illegal. So was punching my wife. She fled, stumbling. The rookie tripped in fish slime. Nate climbed down, cattle prod in hand. You're good. Never better. Sarah watched from the kitchen, face unreadable. You didn't freeze, she said. You didn't blink. She closed the door, not slammed, just closed. I built a warning for them and for me. Monica thought I was the problem. Now I was the consequence. I thought it was over. I was wrong. At 6:12 a.m., Nate dropped a tablet on the table. Footage showed me over Derek, boot on his chest. No context, just me as a warlord. They stripped it, Nate said. Blogs call you Rancher Rambo. A noon courier brought a $75,000 lawsuit, aggravated trespass deterrence, hostile intent. They wanted to bankrupt me. Sarah watched the footage loop. You set that trap. I protected our land. Did you? Or did you bait them? They assaulted me, and now the world thinks you assaulted them. I'm stuck between the man who let it happen and the man who planned it too well. You're not the man I married. Then what am I? You scare me more than they do. She slammed the door. A car idled half a mile away, headlights off. I flashed my flashlight 1, 2, 3. They flashed back. They were watching. I was too. I didn't run online. I built a case, raw files, timelines, audio. Nate handed me a thumb drive. I sent it to Sarah's cousin, a civil rights attorney. 10 minutes later, a complaint arrived, sharp as a blade. We filed a countersuit, unlawful trespass, false impersonation, use of force, defamation, backed by drone footage, hospital records, leaked HOA files. Someone hated Monica more than I did. In county court, I wore clean boots in silence. Monica's team had 3 lawyers and a clicky pen. The judge watched 30 seconds of footage, eyebrows raised. This should have never reached me. He signed a permanent injunction, restraining orders, cease and desist. The HOA was toothless. Monica resigned, sold her house, vanished. Derek's name was scrubbed from their site. Nate called their number, no answer. Staffing shortage, he said, sipping something foul. We reset the ranch, removed tripwires, raised the flag. Normal, but not the same. Sarah came home, sat beside Minute close, just there. Do you miss who you were before this? I became who I was meant to be. She didn't argue, didn't leave. That was enough. They don't fear me because I fight. They fear me because I stopped fighting and still won.